1977, George Lucas formed a legacy.
The Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
Inspired by mythology, his saga has become a passion for many.
Feel the Force around you.
His legend has become our story.
It's true. All of it.
One of resistance.
We are the spark that'll light the fire that'll burn the First Order down.
Rebellion.
Rebellion is built on hope.
And redemption.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is Star Wars Reactions.
Remember, the Force will be with you. Always.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to an all-new episode of Star Wars Reactions. We're back and we're ready to have some fun tonight, and it's going to be a great show. I am one of your hosts. I am Aaron Harris, and joining me, he is my partner in crime. He is the 3PO to my R2. He is the David Motters. David, what's up, buddy?
Just back on with you. We haven't been on for a while. We've been, again, not recording as much over the summer, but I'm always glad to be on with you, and I'm ready to react.
Hi, everybody. You just heard my microphone get knocked off my desk. Sorry about that. Sweet. So, obviously live, because I'm not going to edit that out. Probably not, because I'm lazy. Anyway. Anyway, Carabast.
Hello.
Carabast. Speaking of Carabast, did you see the picture I posted earlier this week?
You mean of
Zeb?
Yes.
Yes. My Black Inch Zeb came in. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It is.
It is the Black Series, right?
Yes, the 6-inch Black Series from Hasbro, and he came in and got a chopper with him as well. And oh man, he's gorgeous. I love it. The coloring is great. The just the general annoyed look on his face is perfect. Absolutely perfect. I mean, it comes, of course, with the bowcaster, and it is. I mean, and I like how they scaled him up too, because he's actually taller than the rest of the Ghost Crew.
Nice. Yes.
So it fits right in, and I'll tell you, I was so excited when that thing showed up on my. Oddly, it arrived on a Sunday, so I was pleasantly surprised. I got home from church on Sunday, and he was sitting on my doorstep. I'm like, really?
Huh.
Yeah.
So, do you have all of the Rebels crew in Black Series now? Is that?
I am missing one. But he is currently in Scranton, Pennsylvania, making his way down here.
Oh, is it Kanan?
No. It's Ezra.
Oh, Ezra. Okay.
I could not find Ezra to save my life when he was initially released.
Yeah.
And so when they did the re-release, I made sure I pre-ordered one. And Zeb got here before he did. So
that's cool.
Once Ezra gets here, I will have the full Ghost Crew.
Nice.
Including Chopper. I love Chopper.
Oh my God. Are you going to leave everybody in the box or get them out?
Well, you see, this is the catch-22 I'm in right now, because the ones I do have already, the Kanan, Ahsoka, Hera, and Sabine, I have one of each. I have one in the box and one out of the box. Oh. So Chopper, I now have one in the box and one out of the box. I only was able to pre-order one Zeb. Okay. And I only have one Ezra coming. So now the debate is, what do I do? So I'm wrestling with that one. Okay. I haven't opened Zeb yet. I want to, but it's the new design boxes they did for the Black Series. And it's the new box work is gorgeous. And so I'm like torn on whether or not to if I could get my hands on another one, I would rip it open in a heartbeat. But they're sold out everywhere.
Oh, they're sealed up everywhere, so you can't like
There's-
open them. And...
No. They're sold out everywhere.
Oh,
So I can't get my hands on another one yet
okay.
without paying like extreme scalper prices online, which I'm not willing to do.
No.
So,
No.
but so yeah, I once Ezra gets here, I will have the full Ghost Crew, and if I can, I will get my hands on another Ezra and another Zeb, and then open one. That way I can have them out and posed and positioned in very cool ways. So.
Oh yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen. Just it'll take some time. Yeah.
It will.
Right.
Hopefully it will happen. And of course, today is a special day. Of course, we're recording this September 1st. And do you have any idea what makes today special?
I think I do because I just downloaded it on Audible. Just before I got on with you.
Holding in my hand.
Oh, you got? Oh, okay.
It was delivered today. Star Wars Thrawn Ascendancy, Chaos Rising by Timothy Zahn. And I got lucky. I got one of the, apparently, did you see online a couple weeks ago, they announced that the first prints are going to have special blue pages?
I did. I saw that.
I got one of them.
Nice.
Oh, gosh, this book is absolutely gorgeous. And I cannot wait to get into this thing and just tear it apart page by page. I'm still debating on whether or not to do it via Audible as well, because I can finish with my work schedule, with working from home. That's really all I've been doing is listening to audiobooks. I did Chuck Wendig's Empire's End. I started it yesterday and I finished it today. Just listening to it while I was working. So I could really finish Thrawn really quick if I wanted to.
Oh my gosh. Well, like I told you, and we've said it on the podcast over the last several months, I am really needing to move over to Audible just for space reasons. I've got the previous Thrawn trilogy, you and I've talked about it. I've got it, Thrawn Alliances, and Thrawn Treason. I am going to get the third book in the Alphabet Squadron. I'm going to get that next year when it comes out because I got hardcover in both of those. And I think I'll get, like I said to you, I've got, from a certain point of view, in hardcover, I'll get that Empire Strikes Back one in hardcover and the Returns of Jedi, just to kind of finish those out. But with this being a new trilogy, I just told myself, I need to, this would be a good point to do Audible for this trilogy. What I did do, though, at Del Rey, is at Del Rey Books, at their Twitter site, they had the list of characters. I'm trying to, what is it? Dramaticus? What is it called? It's the list of characters. And they have it at the front of the book there. And a lot of fans were really happy about that, because I have heard a lot of Star Wars fans wanting that to come back, the list of characters at the front of the book. And this one has it. Now, I don't know if it's something Del Rey's going to do going forward, but, I took a snapshot of the picture. Del Rey put that on, the Twitter site, and I thought, let me have this because I can look at it while I'm listening and know, who the characters are. In fact, I'll look at it right here. I'll tell you what it is. It's
the Dramatis Personae.
There it is.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
So I've got it on my phone here, and I'm going to look at that and just have it, in my mind's eye, or have it there as I'm listening to all these. But it'll, I just, they always do something like that. The blue pages, they do a special Barnes and Noble edition, stuff like that. And I just am telling myself, I just gotta go over to Audible and just stay with that. So
yeah,
I'll periodically grab some stuff.
Now, what piques my interest about this Dramatis Personae?
Yes, very good.
Have you read through it?
Yes, I have. I did.
Did you see the one person they have called Sherry, CHE apostrophe RI.
Yeah.
Did you see how they translated that?
Yeah.
Skywalker.
So you wonder, what that's going to be in here. I don't know, but that's very, very interesting.
That's the first time I've looked at that page, and I was like, that just caught my eye. Huh, Skywalker.
Yeah.
That's a very particular translation. You don't say that in a Star Wars book without raising an eyebrow.
Yeah. That's really cool. I was looking at the length of this book. It's over 15 hours on Audible. I was looking at Resistance Reborn, the Rebecca Roanhorse novel that is after The Last Jedi and before The Rise of Skywalker. That was about 12 hours or so. Mm-hmm. This book is 3 hours longer. So he's really, and you can tell when you start looking at the Chiss family ranks, the 9 ruling families, and the political hierarchy. I'm just going to have to get this in my head, basically. Mm-hmm. And hopefully that'll carry through all 3 books, But I love the cover. It's really cool looking there. And but I'm looking forward to this. Like I said, I downloaded it just before because I had a credit. And, I'll start listening here in the days to come.
Oh, absolutely. I find it interesting, too, because it's 15 hours. I mean, not Empire's End. Life Debt. Life Debt's the one I just finished. I don't know why. Empire's End's the last one. That's the one I still need to do. Yes. Life Debt's the one I just finished. It was really good. It was 14 and a half hours. So Thrawn Ascendancy would be an hour longer. So.
Well, yeah, so I'm looking. Yes, Thrawn Ascendancy, I'm on Audible, is 15 hours and 5 minutes. Jeez. Actually, remember I said 12 hours for Resistance? No, 11 hours, 29 minutes it looks like.
Okay.
But 15 hours. That's a good 3.5 hours longer than Resistance Reborn.
Oh, absolutely. Jeez.
Wow.
It's going to be good. And the thing is, it's not the only book I have to read right now, because I also just got the Clone Wars Stories of Light and Dark.
Right. I'm going to get that one next with my next credit. Absolutely. Yes.
So I got both of those now sitting here that I'm like, I wonder. It's like I've been waiting for both of these for so long, and they both came out pretty much at the same time. So I'm like, this isn't fair.
Well, I feel like without a movie coming this November, I'm actually so thankful. And I mean, obviously with Mandalorian coming next month, really looking forward to that. But I kind of feel like I got some time to kind of try to get caught up on some stuff. But there's still so much coming out. I'm like, holy mackerel.
And I still have to finish Skyfall. Or not Skyfall, Shadowfall.
Oh, me too. I'm 100 pages left. I'm really enjoying that, buddy.
Oh. Yeah, it's been good. So It's just I have not spent the credit to listen to it since I had the physical copy. I started the reading it that way, and I want to finish it that way. But it's just a lot harder to work in time to just sit down and actually physically read it versus listening to it. Well, that's why I'm still struggling to finish that one, and why I'm debating what to do with these two. Because Thrawn is I'm a huge Thrawn fan. I have been waiting for this book. Honestly, that's kind of why I rushed through Life Debt to get it done.
Yeah.
So I could get to Thrawn.
Oh yeah. Well,
but the debate now is: do I want to spend a credit and listen to it, or just read it?
Well, it's interesting. I'm curious to hear how they say all these names. I am, and I've thought about that. Like with Shadowfall, I'm doing the same thing as you. I have it in physical copy, and I'm like, no, I'm going to finish it that way. I'm not going to buy the the Audible on that one. I wanted to save the credit for this Thrawn one, but I don't know. I think I mentioned you. I'm almost tempted to go back and listen to Alphabet Squadron on Audible and follow along in the book. Listen to Shadowfall on Audible. I'm actually, this is really becoming interesting. Wanting to hear them. I would even go back and listen to Aftermath, Life Dead, and Empire's End on Audible. I don't think I wouldn't want to just sit and read them again myself, but to listen to the narrators would be pretty cool. But I, like with Shadowfall, I made an effort this past weekend to really get a good chunk of it read, because like you, I did want to get it done. I am enjoying it, but was really looking forward, like you, to this new Thrawn, and just really wanted kind of Shadowfall done in my mind. I did finish up Afra, that Audible book, a couple days ago.
That was really good.
Wow, really enjoyed it.
That was really good.
Now again, that's 5.5, 6 hours. I mean, this Thrawn one is 3 times longer than that, so it'll take some time. But I heard Aaron Goins and Teresa Delgado talk over on Star Wars Bookworms, talking about how they've always enjoyed Mark Thompson as Thrawn, like in the 3 previous Thrawn books you and I talked about. And so I am curious. It sounds like he does a pretty good one, like we hear on Rebels. So curious to hear that. And his pronunciation of all these names, that'll be, I'm sure he had quite the preparation for that. But
exactly. I've been enjoying, like I said, I'm new to the Audible scene, and I've actually been enjoying Mark Thompson. His first books I've heard him read, and these have been quite enjoyable. Aftermath and then Life Dead they've been great. So I'm looking forward to. I really want to hear him do his Thrawn, because I've heard that too, that he's really good. But decisions.
I know. Well, think about it. He does Vader in the Afra audio.
Oh yeah, and he was incredible.
Oh, he's great. And he does Black Chrysanthemum too. I listened to our friends over at Wookiee Radio. They did an interview with what is his Nick? What's his last name? Oh crap! He was the producer for Dooku, Jedi Lost, and also for this Afra one. I watched him on San Diego Comic-Con at home. He hosted a panel with the voice actors, Mark Thompson, that, what is her name? It's not, Emily, is it Emily's, oh God, I'm trying to remember her name, who does Afra. They had her and him. They had Sarah Kuhn.
Lou Zeller.
Thank you, Emily Lou Zeller. There you go. And it was neat to see this guy on there and talking about how they decided to do the voices, Vader, Black Chrysanthemum, and how they ultimately came up with a voice for 000 and the sounds for BT1. And so it was really good. The guys, Mike over there, who is the main host at Wookiee Radio, did a real nice job. And that just came out. It was brand new last week. So. But no, I guess I brought that up just to say that I am really enjoying the Audible books as well, and hearing Mark Thompson as that. I'll say this, in terms of Resistance Reborn, if I was reading that, after hearing him do it, I think I would have really struggled to get through that book. Most of the Star Wars books I don't. I usually can get through them, but I think that really helped. I did not buy the physical copy of that. I just got the Audible on it, and he really made that happen. So I'm really liking this guy, and like you, I'm really enjoying this move over to Audible. It's fun.
Yeah, it has been fun. I've been enjoying it, and especially now that they've upgraded their stuff they've updated their membership, so you can actually get a lot more free books, which has been very nice. So I've been enjoying that, but so. We went off on a book tangent I didn't expect to go on, but hey, that's life.
All you had to say was it was September 1st, and boom, there we go.
Boom. No, this has been something we've been waiting on, so I can't wait to dig into it and see what's all Thrawn goodness is in there, and of course dig into Stories of Light and Dark too, because gosh, love the Clone Wars. And from what I understand too, these are stories that are already, these are the Clone Wars episodes being retold as from the point of view of somebody else.
Yeah.
Which is very cool.
Yeah, and I'm with you. Well, and of course you got James Arnold Taylor, and you've got Sam Witwer, I think Catherine Tabor, and so again that versus just one person narrating it. When you get all of them, now you've got me interested in getting that on Audible.
Oh my, absolutely. That as soon as you told me that was what was happening with Stories of Light and Dark, I was like, I was that pretty much convinced me I needed to get the Audible version of that one. Haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, but I'm going to. I want to get Thrawn first. So
definitely.
So, all right. So let's roll on here. We do have some more news. There's been some things going on in the world of Star Wars. Of course, we do have Celebration was supposed to have been this past week, and hate that it didn't happen. And I'll be perfectly honest. I was a little surprised we didn't get a lot of news this weekend.
Agreed. I thought there would be more kind of news drops. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I was expecting, a lot more, because they were supposed to have had panels and all this stuff was going on. So you expect certain things to be already prepared and certain things to happen that would have been in conjunction with the panels at Celebration. So yeah, I'll admit I'm a little surprised they didn't happen. But I know there's a lot of people online right now that are really mad that nothing dropped, but it is what it is. I'm not upset about it, but it just means there's more stuff to look forward to.
Well, no doubt. I mean, one of the things that people were talking about, would there be, if this was Celebration, a Mandalorian panel with a trailer drop there? 17, when you and I were at Celebration in Orlando, I remember, I think was it 17, 18, was it the original, the first Thrawn? I think it was. Mm-hmm. The most recent trilogy that Zahn did, and there was a special edition of that, and you could get a pin. And I wouldn't be surprised that if they had Celebration this year, that there would have been that kind of thing, and of course getting your autographs, maybe even a panel with Zahn on there talking about this trilogy of Thrawn books. What else? I guess Mandalorian. Well, a lot of stuff on High Republic would have been out this past weekend, and of course everything got bumped back. But I do wonder if by putting this Thrawn book was not supposed to come out September 1st. Remember, you and I on a previous episode said they were moving it up to fill that gap, and so even so, I guess I'm with you. I'm still surprised they didn't show a little bit more or drop something at StarWars.com. But anyway,
we did get a few pieces of news over the last few days from. I don't think they would necessarily be Celebration related, but High Republic had some news. They announced that Yoda will be a part of the High Republic.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yes, my friend.
StarWars.com?
That is at StarWars.com. I got it pulled up right here. Inside Star Wars, it was released. This was announced actually. We're recording this September 1st, so this was announced today. Oh. The High Republic meet Yoda. And what's unique about this, according to the article, he'll be prominently featured in the High Republic Adventures comic that Daniel Jose Older is writing, which will be coming next year in 2021 from IDW.
Yeah, I'm there. I see the artwork for Yoda here. Yeah, it came out today. That's why I looked earlier today, and I guess I kind of refresh, but I see it here. Um, oh wow, there's a concept art for him. Oh, and a couple different outfits.
Oh yeah, they got him in a couple different outfits. And what I like about this is, and if you go through and reading it, it's not going to be the same type of Yoda we see in the movies, or in the Clone Wars, because this is 800 years earlier. I mean, this is 1,000 years before. Uh,
Well,
he's in his prime.
well, it's 200 years before.
200 years, sorry.
No, no.
So he's 200, this is 200 years before the prequels. So he is 600 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's a spry youngling.
Yeah.
And apparently they talk about he's going to be more in the role of a teacher, working with a group of Padawans, which is perfect. I cannot wait to see this. And the two pieces of art that they released, the first one where he's in the darker robes and everything, he's got his lightsaber lit.
Yep.
He looks, to me, he looks more like a, remember that episode of the Clone Wars when it was Yoda versus Evil Yoda?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from that.
It does, doesn't it?
It does. It does. It looks like he's dabbling in the dark side a bit there. Then, of course, the second one where he's got his cane and the lighter robes, the brighter robes. To me, he kind of looks more like Luke on but Octo. Yeah.
I agree 100% with those robes. Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Really looks interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fun when that comes out. So that's something to look forward to come 2021. So make sure if you're wanting to hear more about Yoda, make sure you're picking up those comics.
Yeah, no doubt. That's pretty cool. I'm glad you said this. It gets me. I'm usually at StarWars.com every day. I'm trying to catch up. In fact, yesterday I was catching up on the videos. I was looking at the This Week in Star Wars. I looked at the Star Wars show, which was longer. Did the retrospective on Celebrations Past. That was really cool. And then I was even watching the trailer for the Sims 4 Star Wars Journey to Batuu. Stuff on the Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker saga. I'm looking at this. There's a lot. There's so much being put out. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, in every medium. I mean, to try to keep up with all this is quite the concept,
Oh yeah. It's crazy, and I'm literally looking forward to seeing what's happening with all this stuff, because there's just so much stuff. It's crazy. So,
like Squadrons, I'm looking on here. They've got more stuff they're revealing about Squadrons. The video game will come out in a month, October 2nd or October 6th or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That thing's coming out. On the Oculus, forgive me, it was on the Oculus. Vader Immortals now on
PlayStation.
Yeah, PlayStation.
Yep.
I don't think you and I have talked about the Lego Holiday Special that's going to come out in November. There's been so much news, and it truly is, as I think about it, I'm like, wait, isn't it supposed to be kind of downtime? It's just staggering the amount of content that's coming out.
Well, and there's still more. I mean, unfortunately, there's some bad news as well. the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga game that was coming out in December has been pushed back. They released a gameplay trailer this past week, and they never announced it was being pushed back. They just released a trailer, and at the end of the trailer, it's spring 2021.
Oh, yes, I see it right here now. Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, now coming in the spring of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that, they did announce that if you have ever played the Sims game, they're releasing a Star Wars expansion for the Sims.
Oh,
yeah.
Jeez.
Journey to Batuu is what it's going to be called. It's going to be based on Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, I see it right here. I mean, I've never played Sims.
I have not played Sims since I was in college.
Yeah.
To be honest, it has been that long, and it's interesting. So, I was pleasantly surprised when I saw that. But speaking of Galaxy's Edge, and this is the piece of news that I liked the most, is apparently Doc Ondar's shop, Den of Antiquities, there at Galaxy's Edge, is getting a new set of legacy lightsaber hilts.
Oh.
Well, of course, we know they have the Ahsoka Tano lightsaber hilts, which were based off of Rebels.
Right.
They are now getting the Ahsoka Tano Clone Wars lightsaber hilts, and these will be the first legacy lightsaber hilts that they have made that change color. Because Ahsoka's lightsabers were green throughout the series till the last arc when they changed to blue.
Right.
And Anakin modified them.
Yes.
So these can change from green to blue.
That's really cool, dude. Because, you and I have been there, and because we've got pictures of you holding, you have Obi-Wan's lightsaber, right? We're in Doc Ondar's, and
yep.
I have, you took a great picture of me holding Luke's lightsaber from Return of the Jedi with the green blade. And what else did we see in there? Ahsoka Tano's, the Obi-Wan that you had.
They had
Luke, Vader.
Vader's was in there. They had Dooku, and I want to say, was it Ventress?
I think so. The two of them, right?
I think so.
Yeah. And was there? I know Ahsoka's was in there. I guess did they have a Grievous? No,
Yoda.
Oh, and they had Yoda.
They had a Yoda.
Okay. Yeah. So they're going to keep all those and add these?
Yes. Apparently, I guess that's what's happening. They haven't really said for sure. This news was actually posted on Ashley Eckstein's Instagram, where she had just gotten a delivery of these new lightsaber hilts, and she's got a video of her holding them and them changing colors. And she said, let me read it. Let me read who she wrote here. She goes, in quotation, she's right. They're good as new. Maybe a little better, which of course is what Anakin said when he gave her the lightsabers. She goes, Doc Ondar surprised me with Ahsoka Tano's Clone Wars lightsaber hilts. These are the first ever legacy lightsaber hilts that change color, and they are amazing. They're coming this fall to Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities at Galaxy's Edge.
That's cool, man.
So, looking awesome. Awesome.
It'll be interesting to see if Disneyland opens anytime soon for people to get them there.
I know.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's really cool. I love seeing those. I mean, you and I didn't go and do Savi's workshop and make a lightsaber. But I mean, that looks cool. But the legacy lightsabers, I loved looking at those and holding those, and just examining them and the feel of them and the weight. They're just
They're top notch.
oh, they're awesome, man.
They are.
Love it.
Oh, I love them too. They're fun. I still need to buy Obi-Wan's.
Yeah.
I need it for my collection.
Yes. Part of my collection.
To make a fine part of my collection. So, but yeah, so there we go. That pretty much wraps up all the news, which was great. So what we'll do is we will take a very brief break, and when we come back, we will start our discussion for the day. Welcome back, everybody. Aaron and David here, Star Wars Reactions. And we, of course, announced a couple episodes ago, we were going to be looking at Disney Gallery, The Mandalorian, Star Wars The Mandalorian, which is, of course, the behind-the-scenes 8-part documentary that they put on Disney Plus about The Mandalorian, which was, of course, a great series. And we wanted to at least talk over these episodes as and of course, we are, from what we know, a little over a month away from whenever. I mean, it's supposed to be in October is when season 2 is supposed to come out, is what has been said, but no official date's been given yet. But October is what has been said by Jon Favreau, by Bob Iger. So everybody's got their hopes pinned on October. And of course, we're in September now, so we're a month away from October. So whether it's beginning of October, end of October, we don't know. But so we're going to say we're at least a month away from season 2 of the Mandalorian, as we find out more about his journey with the child. But we got these great episodes that we want to look at. I know initially we planned to go through 4 episodes in this. We're going to go over the first 2 episodes, not the first 4, just because we just spent 30 minutes talking about news and books. So we got 30 minutes to talk about these first 2 episodes. And, of course, the last 7 minutes of the second episode I could spend 5 days talking about. So
exactly, just that we could do a whole show on.
So we're going to go ahead and get into these episodes and get into this. Episode 1, great. Episode 2, great. Now let's talk about that last 7 minutes. Not just kidding. Just kidding.
Let's get this. Yeah. No, very well put, buddy.
No, the first episode of Disney Galleries, The Mandalorian, was about the directors. It was called Episode 1, Directing. And, of course, it's got Dave Filoni, Deborah Chow, Rick Famuyiwa. I'm going to butcher everybody's name, and I apologize up front. Famuyiwa, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Taki Waititi.
Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi. There we go. And, of course, Jon Favreau in the mix. And I did say Dave Filoni already. So, great episode talking about directors. And what was fun about this is we all know these names. We've all heard these names. We've seen their episodes. We've seen their work. Of course, Dave, we all know from Clone Wars and Rebels. So this was a lot of fun to get to meet these other directors up close. Yeah, because I'd heard of Deborah Chow, I'd heard of Rick. I knew Bryce Dallas Howard. I've seen her work. So I was a big fan of hers from when she was in M. Night Shyamalan's The Village. And then of course Jurassic World. She's well known, and of course Waititi, of course Ragnarok blew my mind away. Great Thor movie, So he's got his experience there. So a lot of fun getting to know more, learn more about these directors. Looking at this episode, what jumped out at you the most, David, about these people, about these directors?
I like you, I had, had some experience with Taika Waititi, Bryce Dallas Howard, heard about Deborah Chow quite a bit, Dave Filoni. Rick, like you said, I think it's, like you said, Famuyiwa. I really liked the back story from him. Him and, he worked on episode 2 and 6, even wrote part of episode 6. 6 was the heist, episode where they break out the one guy, and the guy who heads up the whole crew there wants the Razor Crest and wants to get rid of Mando. But that was really neat. And he said he came up during the original trilogy. That really resonated with me. Looks about the same age as me. I kind of thought he did. And I really loved how he said he likes making stories about misfits like the Jawas and stuff. So that was really cool. Obviously, another thing that stuck out to me was Dave Filoni talking about, is something that we've seen him talk about in Rebels and Clone Wars. Behind the scenes stuff is him talking about greed versus selflessness. And you can tell it's a really overarching theme in his mind. And he brings that to his work on Star Wars. And so that was really neat. And it was interesting to hear all the praise for him. Even Deborah Chow says, quote, he innately knows what is right and wrong for Star Wars. And, that was really cool. I like Jon Favreau saying everybody here is creatively brave. And, and just to see this group of people come together and make episodes that, again, are pretty much universally liked. I mean, we talk about the split in fandom that occurred after The Last Jedi, and of course people said it occurred before. It's been around for a long time. But these set of directors have been incredible when it came to what they did with these episodes, and I give all of them credit for the season 1 and how universally liked it is.
Oh, I definitely wholeheartedly agree. They are to be commended for the success of season 1, them along with Favreau, because we have very distinct personalities from these directors, but yet they meshed so well and they got along so good, and they leaned on each other's strengths and weaknesses, and I liked that. They learned from each other in their round tables and stuff, and I love that. And I loved getting to know their backgrounds too. Like of course Dave Filoni. I could sit there and listen to Dave Filoni talk Star Wars all day, because when he talks Star Wars, he talks about what he learned from George. So I could listen to that all day. But then you have Bryce Dallas Howard, whose father is Ron Howard, who of course is Hollywood royalty. He directed Solo. And of course she talks, and I love the story she tells during this episode where she talks about going to Japan with her dad, where they had lunch with George Lucas and Kurosawa. And I like sitting there thinking, man, to have been a fly on the wall at that lunch with George Lucas, Ron Howard, Kurosawa, and just hear them talk. They probably didn't even talk movies. They probably talked about the weather and politics, but just to hear them discuss it would have been tremendous. And I love Bryce Dallas Howard. I love what she said. She's like, I fell asleep. She was a kid. She fell asleep during it. Of course, she's the biggest names in Hollywood sitting right there. Some of the greatest minds in film and in mythology. We're sitting right there, and she slept through it.
That was a great story. And you look at the face of the other directors, and they're like looking at her and like, wait, George Lucas and Kurosawa are there. They're just like, what? I mean, that was amazing.
It was quite amazing. You know, it's one of those things you just can't make a story like that up. It was, I mean, she has it. I mean, it's in her blood. And of course, then you have like, I'm just blanking on the episode. Hold on, let me grab the show notes real quick.
Sure. Are you talking episode directed by her, you're saying, or?
No, cause that was a great episode that she directed. She directed the one, I forget the name of it, but it's the one where they're in the forest and they're helping the village.
Yeah, episode
being attacked
4,
by pirates.
Sanctuary, I think. Episode 4, Sanctuary.
I believe that was it. And of course, that's the one where you have the child sitting there sipping from his little cup while Mando and Gina Carano's characters have blasters pointed at each other's heads.
Yeah.
You know, you're like,
right.
Okay.
It's great.
But they are just such unique individuals, and I love it the way they painted a picture in each of their episodes. And I think I like what Deborah Chow said the best, how she's like, I really enjoyed killing stormtroopers.
Yeah. It was awesome. Yeah.
So, all right. So, of course, that of course covers the directors. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention about the directors?
No, I think that's, I think what I really wanted to focus on there. Just what a wonderful job each of them did to really make a great season 1. That is not easy to do. But they did it.
No, it most definitely is not. It is all very hard work, especially creating something new that nobody knew how it would be received. And they obviously poured their heart and soul into it, and you can tell they were passionate about the episodes they did and about the project overall. So it made you feel good.
Sure, that's right.
I will say this about this whole series of documentaries. I've watched a lot of documentaries. I'm a big documentary fan. I live on Discovery Channel, History Channel, Science Channel. I live on those networks. National Geographic. I live on those networks. If I'm not watching Star Wars, I'm watching those. So I watch a ton of documentaries. But this is the only behind the scenes documentary series I've ever watched that at the end of each episode, I actually felt good. They left me with smiles on my face, except for this next episode, which when it went off, it left me going, what in the blue blazes did I just hear?
Right.
And then went back and watched it again. I watched the last 7 minutes of this next episode at least 6 times the day it was released, because I couldn't get over what I was hearing. So Legacy is the name of episode 2. And of course, which they get together and they share the influence and the legacy of Star Wars and how it influenced them. And we have, of course, Jon Favreau, John Knoll was there, Hal Hickel, Richard Buff, Kathleen Kennedy, and of course Dave Filoni. Then of course they had the directors pop in and talk about the influence of Star Wars on them: Rick, Bryce, Dave, Taki, and Deborah. The cast: Pedro Pascal, Carl Weathers, all jumped in there as well. And of course, besides the final 7 minutes, which we will talk about here in a few moments, what jumped out at you the most about this episode, about the legacy that they were discussing of Star Wars?
Well, I think what sticks out to me is what we're seeing, not just in the people making live action or the movies, but you and I are seeing it, in the High Republic, that whole publishing series, video games, even like I said, these people who are working on the not just the audiobooks but the audio dramas, is you have people who were absolutely influenced by the original trilogy, and it led to them getting into working on Star Wars. Like Richard Bluff. You see him quite a bit there in the not just sitting there talking, but on the sets, particularly in the volume and stuff like that. We'll cover that in a later episode, but. Like he said, with ILM, when he saw the dinosaurs come on screen, he says, I had to learn how to do this. That's how I started on my journey. John Knoll says he was 14 when A New Hope came out, and it pushed him to go into his career in special effects. Even Jon Favreau, he's 11 years old, and I was 8 years old at the time. I remember having a dream. I wanted to go out there and work at Lucasfilm, and ultimately, never did that, never got into that. But that really stuck out as just, the influence it had on all these creative people to do it now themselves, and they're getting to work on Star Wars. And what do you hear them say? They're just pinching themselves. They can't believe they're working on this stuff. The same thing with the directors. They go back to them, even though they were in the first episode. They all talk about the massive influence on their creativity and now them as being creatives themselves. So again, I think that might be the biggest thing that stuck out is just, and look, it's not just these people. I mean, you see James Cameron talk about it, who does, Titanic, and he's working on Avatar movies now. Ridley Scott, he said, I've heard him speak, and he says, he came out of the first Star Wars movie, and he's like, what the heck am I doing? I got to get on the ball here. And then he came out with Alien, in 1979. So it's just the amount of people that George Lucas influenced in Star Wars. It's amazing, all the creative people and what they're doing now.
Absolutely. It is. It's amazing to see the legacy of Star Wars sitting right there. Because the legacy of Star Wars goes beyond them. It goes to each and every one of us. I mean, literally, look how much this movie has, and this creation has it touched people. So it's such a massive legacy to be a part of. Not just making it, but as a fan, that legacy extends to us because we're fans of it. I mean, honestly, and it is amazing to hear the people that are involved in it. You think people working on Star Wars, talking, okay, they're working on Star Wars. It's a job. They're getting paid to do a job. But it's not the case with a lot of these people. A lot of these people are true 100% pure-blooded fans, and they have a connection to the saga. They have a connection to the legacy of Lucasfilm and the legacy of ILM.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy to see how it was done. And Jon Favreau, Jon Favreau had before Mandalorian, he still had a massive career. He still has a massive career. He directed the first Iron Man. He's been in all these Marvel movies. He's done Jungle Book. He has done so many movies. He's done TV shows. He's executive produced The Orville that Seth MacFarlane did. He has got his hands in everything, and he's like, all of my taste and all his likes. He goes, my taste formed around George Lucas's Star Wars.
Yeah.
And just the impact that one man's dream had on so many people. It's amazing to sit here and look, and the radio the morning show that I listen to on the radio station has been talking about ripple effect. It's been their focus of seeing what everybody's ripple effect is, how one action or one thing can affect so many other people, and they've been talking about that a lot lately. I don't know why. It's just been what they've been looking at, and to see the ripple effect that George's dream had on directors, on fans, on the actors, on everyone is just, it's a legacy that you could not have planned for. And it's definitely something that will never go away. The ripple effect of George's dream will be felt forever.
Oh, agreed.
So we are running out of time in this episode, and we would be dismissed if we didn't talk about the final 7 minutes of this episode. I have, like I said, I've watched a ton of documentaries on Star Wars and just in general, and I have never had any 7 minutes of television, whether it had been a documentary, whether it's an actual TV show, real life event. I've never had 7 minutes of a show have a completely change how I view things. Like this last 7 minutes of episode 2, Legacy. It is a 7-minute monologue by Dave Filoni. And there's so much packed into this little 7 minutes. We could discuss it for hours. And it is, the look, and I think what struck me the most after, because I listened to it so many times when it aired, when it was released, because I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And just, I sat there and listened, and I sat there and I watched, and just the looks on the director's faces as he's giving this speech and he's giving this monologue. Everybody's just kind of speechless, and they're hanging on his every word, because when Dave speaks, it's like you're listening to George. And he did this speech about George's intentions, and and talking about the prequels, and how, when George went to make the prequels, it was like, how do you make something that everybody's envisioned in their head already? And
Right.
And George did it the way he wanted to. And Dave even said, when I went and watched it, it wasn't what I expected. It wasn't what I had envisioned, but it was George's vision. And it wasn't just, action to be action. He's like, everything had its purpose and had its reason. The duel of the fates fight between Maul, Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan. He goes, that wasn't a fight. He goes, yes, it was a fight of good versus evil, but it wasn't the fight. The duel of the fates was the fate. Wasn't the fate of what was going to happen to them. It was the fate of Anakin Skywalker. It was the fate of this child, because Qui-Gon knew he was the chosen one, and knew he was the father figure that he needed to train him.
Yeah.
And he was fighting not to beat Maul. He was fighting for the fate of Anakin.
Yeah, that was huge. I never thought of Duel of the Fates necessarily being what Filoni described. And it's interesting to me that, like, Lucas has never said that. I'm sure George has said a ton of stuff, and Dave Filoni's sitting there, mental Rolodex, taking notes. keeping track of all of it, trying to learn, so much stuff from him, from animation to directing live action, learning as much as possible about Star Wars as he can from George Lucas. But it'd be fun to hear George talk about it as well, with what Dave Filoni does there. And just like you said, Aaron, it's interesting to see all these directors just hanging on his every word. And him literally, like Dave Filoni says, drawing a straight line from the Phantom Menace and that battle at the end, Duel of the Fates, and it culminating in Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. And, really tying that together. Because, a lot of people complained about, well, they didn't expect it to start with Episode 1, Anakin being a young 8-9-year-old boy. A lot thought they would start with a teenager. But by seeing him at a young age, and kind of like Filoni said, George is setting up, with this battle at the end of Episode 1, it being more impactful on a younger kid. It's hard enough on a teenager, but even more so on a younger child. And so, I'm just so glad that Dave explained all that. And I think, like you said, and we've talked about it off air, just how it really, I already enjoyed the prequels, but it's made me not only see them differently, but think, I really like that as one big story from Episode 1 to Episode 6. Mm-hmm. Just, it was incredible. And doesn't Filoni say at the end, he goes, so did I bring everybody down? And they're all like, no. They're like, no, it was great, and I wonder what got him going, if Favreau has heard Dave Filoni talk about that before and said, hey, we really need you to, talk about that, or did Dave Filoni, was he just, riffing? Was he just vibing off of the other directors, when they were sitting there? I don't know. But either way, it was, like I put in the show notes, it's Star Wars gold, what he's talking about.
Oh, man. It is, it truly is Star Wars gold. It is, if you are a Star Wars fan and you have not watched this documentary series, I don't care if you don't watch any of the other episodes. You have to listen to this last 7 minutes. And it is literally the last 7 minutes. And it will change. It will change your perspective on a lot of things in Star Wars. It will, because, and to think this is just a glimpse into the mind of Dave Filoni.
Yeah.
And I would love, after 7 minutes, I would love just to sit down and listen to the man speak for hours.
Oh, man. Just
riffing about Star Wars. Nothing in particular. Nothing. It's one thing that I've heard him talk. I was at the Rebels panel. I heard him talk about Rebels. But just to hear him sit down and talk Star Wars, no particular topic, no particular limitations, just let's talk Star Wars. I would love that.
Yeah.
I would sit there for hours if allowed and never go home.
Oh, me too. Well, thinking back to what I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, where I watched the Star Wars show. They put it on once at the end of the month, and I don't know how long this one was, 20 minutes, or it was kind of long, and it showed clips. They showed a young Dave Filoni at the Clone Wars panel back in 2007, I believe. And, just before 2008 when the movie came out and then the series started. And, Dave Filoni has talked before about, and even in this one, George hiring him. You wonder if, when George sat down with him, that it wasn't difficult for George to hire him, because in spending time with Dave Filoni, I wonder if he picked up pretty quickly, not only does Dave Filoni get Star Wars, he gets storytelling, and obviously he's an incredibly talented artist. And that's just an incredible combination. And so, you get a sense it didn't take George, a long time to be like, well, should I pick Dave Filoni? Should I pick this person, interviewing other people? I mean, bam, he knew it. And you can see that George Lucas, you get a sense he has really shared a ton of stuff with Dave Filoni, maybe more than any other creative he's worked with. And because I get the sense, Aaron, George Lucas knows that Dave Filoni gets it. He knows it. And he probably knew it that first interview.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree with that. So, oh, man. So, yeah.
How do you top that? Yeah.
How do you top that? How do you stop talking about it, too? It's just one of those things that like I said, we could sit down and do a whole show just on those 7 minutes, and we probably will one day.
Well, and we could do it from not only a Star Wars perspective and a fan perspective, but even from a psychological perspective.
Absolutely.
We could really lay a lot of that stuff in there. But you and I can talk about it. And maybe, it's not hard for you to put a show together. So.
Very true, my friend. Yeah. Very true. So, all right. Well, for now, we are out of time, so we will wrap this up. What did y'all think of our discussion? What did you think about these first 2 episodes of the Gallery, Disney Gallery? You can let us know, of course, by commenting on social media. We are on Twitter at SW Reactions Pod, Facebook Star Wars Reactions, and of course Instagram SW Reactions. Check us out at all 3, or of course you can email us show@starwarsreactions.com. David, if somebody wants to talk Star Wars with you, how would they go about doing that?
Absolutely. 2 places. One is Twitter. It has not changed since I've been on there. It's David_Modders, Modders. And the other one is our email address is with Star Wars Reactions. So mine is david@starwarsreactions.com. Perfect.
And of course, if you want to talk Star Wars with me, my personal Twitter is TAHarris121079, or of course, email me Aaron@starwarsreactions.com. Of course, David, my friend, it has been fun doing this again with you.
Oh yeah, we'll be getting back to more regular ones once the second season of Mandalorian comes on, right? So.
Oh, absolutely. We'll go back to our weekly episodes once that comes out. We'll go back to weekly episodes reviewing that show. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And, of course, we do appreciate each and every one of you listening, and we can't thank you enough. You are still in our thoughts and prayers through this time. Because it's just one big old crazy world out there, and it's not crazy in here. Well, I'm a little crazy, but that's a side story. But we appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank you all for listening in. Remember, this is your place for elegant discussion for a more civilized age.
If you'd like to share your thoughts, you can email us at show@starwarsreactions.com for our show notes and the latest news from the Star Wars universe. Visit our website at www.starwarsreactions.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at SWReactionsPod or on Facebook at Star Wars Reactions. If you enjoy our show, please leave a review on iTunes. This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or by Lucasfilm Limited. It's intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars. All names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and the respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Star Wars Reactions unless otherwise indicated. Star Wars Reactions. Elegant discussion for a more civilized age.